Okay, we have been learning about an equation of a line called slope-intercept form, and it looks like this. And this is the y-intercept, and this is the slope, and we have learned how to do all sorts of things with this line. Get this line from all kinds of information, from a graph, from 2 points. We can graph a line that looks like this. And so here's the thing, is that we've learned so much about this line that sometimes we're going to get equations that don't look like that, right? And we're going to say, ooh, I want it to look like this. And so when we get an equation that's not in slope-intercept form, what we can do is we can rearrange it. We can rearrange it and make it look like this, even if that's not how we're given. That's not how it's given to us. So when we talk about rearranging it, remember in slope-intercept form, on the left side, right, on the left side of the equation, the y is isolated, right? The y is by itself. It says y equals, and then a bunch of other stuff. But notice the y is by itself on the left side of the equation. So when we're rearranging an equation into slope-intercept form, we're going to want the y on the left by itself. And then there are no parentheses on the right. So you're going to see sometimes like we're given this, there's no parentheses there. Notice on the right side in slope-intercept form, there are no parentheses. Okay, so sometimes you'll be given parentheses, we got to get rid of those. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a couple examples. You're going to have a chance to practice, and then you're just going to try these. And if you're confused, it's okay. This is just a chance for you to kind of see this skill and for me to see what you struggle with on this skill so that we can come back and learn it better and stronger when we come back from the break. Okay, so if I look at this equation, my goal is to rearrange it, and I want it to look like this. So like, I'm just going to kind of like, this is my goal, right? This is my goal, that it looks like this. So notice the y is by itself, so I'm going to have to get rid of this. And there's no parentheses on the right side, so I'm going to have to get rid of these parentheses. So let's start with getting rid of these parentheses, and the way that I do that is I multiply, right? I'm going to distribute here. So I'm going to just bring down y minus 7 equals. This says 2/3 times x. Well, that is 2/3 x, right? This says 2/3 times 9. Okay, so let's just do that down here. 2/3 times 9. That's 2 times 9 is 18, divided by 3, 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 2/3 times 9, 2/3 of 9 is 6. Okay, now it still doesn't quite look like this because my y isn't by itself. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say, oh, well, I want y by itself. Well, what do I need to get rid of? Oh, I need to get rid of the minus 7, so I'm going to do plus 7. And where do I add 7 on the other side of the equation? Well, not here because this term has an x, so I add it over here. So what I get is y equals 2/3 x, and 6 plus 7 is 13. And this is it. Notice this is slope-intercept form, right? I could graph this. My y-intercept's at 13, and then my rise over run is 2/3. I could totally graph that. Okay, so you're going to kind of go through the same process here. Notice the first thing I did was multiply. I distributed. And the second thing I did was get y by itself by adding to both sides. In this case, you're going to end up subtracting from both sides. So what you're going to do right now is go ahead and pause the video and try this problem. Okay, and at this point, you should have tried this problem. If you didn't try it first before I go over it, because that's how you learn. You don't actually just learn from watching me talk. That's actually just not how your brain works. Okay, so I'm going to bring down y plus 5, and I'm distributing. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 4. Negative times negative is positive, and 2 times 4 is 8. Now, I want y by itself, so I need to get rid of plus 5. So I'm going to subtract 5. And there's my equation. This is slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, if you didn't get that, go back, kind of look at your work, see what mistakes you made. Okay, this one. Remember, my goal is still this. My goal is this. So I need y by itself. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. Like, here's the equal sign. Here's y. I need to get rid of all this junk. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, well, I definitely don't want the x's on the left side of the equation. The x's belong over here on the right side of the equation, right? On this side of the equal sign. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole term, and I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides of the equation, right? Notice I'm doing it on both sides of the equation, right? Here I'm subtracting. Like over here, obviously, this is like a minus 5x, so I'm going to end up adding to both sides. Okay, but here's what I get. This is still a negative 4y, so I'm going to bring down negative 4y, equals. Now notice, these are not like terms, right? This is like 8 monkeys minus 3 bananas equals, you can't do that. So I just keep them separate. So what I'm gonna do, and notice, look, my term with the x is first. So I'm actually just gonna keep my term with the x first, negative 3x, and this is a positive 8. Okay. Now, what do I need to do to get y by itself? Because notice the only difference now, look, I have my x over here, I have another number over here, so this is looking good, but my y is still not by itself. My y needs to be by itself. Right now my y is being multiplied by negative 4, so I'm going to divide by negative 4. And here's the thing about division. When I divide, I have to divide this entire side by negative 4. So I'm actually going to divide both of these terms by negative 4, both of them. Okay, so this is y equals, so here, this is negative 3 divided by negative 4. Negative divided by negative is positive. 3 divided by 4 is actually a decimal, and I don't want a decimal, so I'm just going to leave it as 3 over 4, which is fine, right? Our slopes are fractions all the time, so this is totally fine. So that's that, and then I have 8 divided by negative 4. So positive divided by negative is negative, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. And that's it. So you're going to pause and try this problem. Now, look, I've only shown you once, so you're probably going to struggle a little bit. That's okay. Pause and try it, and then watch the video. And if you messed up, you messed up. There's no consequence. Okay? Let's take a look. So here's my equal sign. I'm going to first take this x term and move it to the right side, right? Because I know in my slope-intercept form, my x's are on the right side. So now I have 2y equals, I'm going to bring down my x term first, 5x minus 14. Now, y is not by itself, it's being multiplied by 2, so I'm going to divide by 2. And I remember that when I divide, I have to divide all the way through. So I'm going to do 5 divided by 2. Now that's positive divided by positive. When I do that, I get 2.5 if I put it in a calculator, but I don't like that, right? I'm just going to leave it as a fraction. Remember, my slopes as fractions are totally fine. That's my rise over run, so I have no problem with fraction slopes. You leave it just like that. Don't make it 2.5. Don't make it 2.5. Leave it just like that as a fraction. Then negative 14 divided by 2, negative divided by positive is negative, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. And this is my beautiful slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, right? Like if I wanted to graph this, I could. I would start at negative 7, and I'd go up 5, right 2. All right, so it's your turn. You're going to go ahead and try these, and there's no consequence for them being wrong. I just want to see what you do and what mistakes you make, and we'll go from there.